Hi guys, DC here. Well, today I'm going to show you how we make cheese fondue in Switzerland. This is going to be a response to Robjnixon's demand that we all show a little recipe. It's not a complicated recipe, but it is something that one makes here. Okay, so I'll start by showing you the ingredients that go into this cheese fondue. I guess you can already imagine what the main ingredient is. Cheese, yes, but not any type of cheese. So I'll show you that in a sec. Okay, so here we're starting. Now, in a cheese fondue, at least the variant that I make, the main cheese is Gruyere. Now, Gruyere actually, in this respect, the one I'm showing you here is not the one that's in the fondue. I'm sorry, I'd actually already prepared it before. We take a salty Gruyere. Now, there's different types of Gruyere, but you take one that's more salty. Okay, next ingredient, or next ingredients that go into there, you can see there's garlic, that's nutmeg, maizena, that is starch, actually so cornstarch, white wine, lemon juice, and pepper. One ingredient that's missing here, I've just realized, which I'll put on, I'll show you in a minute, is going to be Kirsch, which is actually cherry schnapps, which goes in at the end. And once you've grated the cheese, you put it in the fondue pot like this. Okay, now what are the ingredients? The proportions, I mean. Well, for each person, you put 200 grams of cheese. Now the cheese, like I said, was Gruyere. And we use something here called Vacherin Fribourgeois. Vacherin Fribourgeois is a soft cheese. So the second cheese actually has to be more of a soft consistency. A lot of people use emmental. I don't actually like the taste of emmental. But here you can use that. But I guess if you can't find this Vacherin Fribourgeois, you'll have to use something else. Okay, now the next thing that I'll show you is very simply that we just put everything in together. I mean, that's actually the nice thing about fondue. Okay, now we pressed in the garlic. Okay, we're going to press in a little bit more. There we are. Put in another bit of garlic. Okay, so that's a bit of garlic. So then we're going to add a little bit of lemon juice, about a tablespoon approximately, maybe a little bit more. Okay. The cornstarch. The cornstarch, we add 1 teaspoon per person. Now I've got four portions here. That means that's 4 teaspoons. Very generous teaspoons. So this actually is not a tablespoon, it's a measure with 4 teaspoons. Okay, so we add that all in there. Now, next what comes in is the wine. Okay, so the wine is between 85 and 90 milliliters per person. So that means for 4, maximum 360. Okay, that's about 200. Pour that in there. You'll notice the screw caps. Actually, wine here, especially the one that's drunk the most quickly, has these screw caps on it. Okay, here a little bit more. Here we are. Okay, so throw that all in. And now, actually, most important thing of all, doesn't make the fondue any better, but certainly helps. Cheers. Okay, I also forgot to tell you about the Kirsch. The Kirsch is this. Okay, so you put that in at the end, little glass. Okay, now if you look at that, it seems pretty simple up to now. You can stir it already a little bit to mix in the starch with all the rest. Now, that's all there is to it, actually. We'll be adding in some nutmeg, which I will grate in to the cheese, and some pepper. Now, the other thing is very simple, is that we just don't heat it like mad. We'll just heat it nice and slowly. Okay. Next step, of course, will be to cut the bread, because as you can imagine, cheese fondue is not eaten just like that. We'll be putting the bread into the cheese. I mean, as you know, we cut up little pieces. Okay, this is what it looks like for the moment. Of course, you gotta stir this thing. First, it's pretty ugly, actually. I mean, it's just, I won't actually say what it looks like, in a sense. You can see it yourself. But I mean, it's just this cheese liquid mixture. But it'll become more velvety as it melts up. And then I'll put some nutmeg and some pepper into it. And at the end, like I said, I'll put in the Kirsch. Okay, I'll show you when we get a little bit further in there. I've cut up the bread in the meantime. And I mean, you got to do these things one after the other, because of course once the cheese is melted, you don't want to cut the bread. I mean, I know some people just take slices, but it's not as fun. I mean, it's nice to have nice little cubes. Okay, we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, now if you look, the consistency is already changing from what we saw a minute ago. And now, I'm still stirring, but we'll put in a bit of pepper. I've already actually put in a little bit. I put a lot of pepper. I think pepper is something that's really good with the cheese. Here you can see the pepper. And nutmeg. And if you can't put fresh nutmeg, I mean, I don't know if you should call this fresh, but if you can't put it exactly, oh, look at that. Well, it never happens. Of course, it will happen if I do it on the YouTube, won't it? Now, if you can't put fresh nutmeg, I wouldn't even bother. Here we are. We'll keep on doing it. Like I say, that's the type of thing that happens. What is it, demo effect? Okay, here, like the nutmeg. Okay, that's enough for the moment. Keep on stirring it in. Okay, guys. So you can see now it's getting really nice and creamy. And it's starting to boil slightly. So we're actually getting there. And it's getting to what I call the critical moment where everybody's going to have to get ready to eat. Now in a few seconds I'll be putting in the Kirsch. Okay, I'm pulling out the Kirsch. There we are. And pouring it in. Okay. Now actually at this point you got to bring it back to, well, not bring it back, you got to bring it to a boil. And when it just starts boiling, that's when you go over to the burner. And when everybody starts eating, and of course drinking the wine. Why, look at that. Out of wine. Because of course while you're cooking it, you got to drink as well. Otherwise it usually turns, it doesn't taste as good. That's very important. You got to drink that wine as well. So are we getting there? Well, I'll put up there a little bit. I've been doing this at medium heat. So it's got to start at a nice consistency, and then it thickens up. Transferring it over to the burner. Here we are. And now the first lucky person, which in this case will be myself, can, there you are. So there you have your cheese fondue, and I'm going to take it. It's a bit hot now, I suppose. It's really good. DC signing off. Take care. Have fun. Bon appétit.